Hi, well, thank you so much for joining this morning. This is our mastermind that we do daily, and I was just reminded by Robin that we're about a year that we've been doing this since the last convention. So it's pretty exciting, and I just want to welcome each and every one of you. I came across this graphic. Um, I thought it was pretty good. If you think being an entrepreneur is risky, try working for someone else for 40 years and living off Social Security. I think that's a really big, it's a really big statement in terms of where we are today in our world. And one of the things that I remind myself of daily is that when I got started with Miriam, I thought, well, this is something that could be a vehicle for something I'm most passionate about, something extra in my life. So that's the way I look at it, and I really feel like we're building something for our future for sure. So gratitude. Today, I can tell you that I'm just grateful for my health, and I'm grateful for life, and I'm grateful for the fact that I get to be a part of something every single day with all of you. So gratitude, having an attitude of gratitude is incredibly important, especially in times where you're feeling like, oh my gosh, things that are maybe make you sad, or maybe you're not really feeling it or whatever. If you go to gratitude, and I've been starting to retrain my brain that every time my brain goes negative, I say to myself, Maui beachfront property, Maui beachfront property. So I'm changing that. Okay, so here's the game plan today I want to talk about. So everybody wants to live on top of the mountain, but all the happiness and growth occurs while we're climbing it. And we get to climb it together. And we've talked in the past about SMART goals. And so I wanted to kind of start our game plan today with, SMART goals. What is your SMART goal for today? If you have one, that's awesome. Write it down and try to achieve it. And what is your SMART goal of tomorrow? And do you have SMART goals for your week and for your month? And that kind of thinking of planning your day before your day begins, planning your week, planning your month, planning your year. We've talked about, building a communication calendar, things like that, databasing. One of the biggest deals has been in our business, in the mortgage business, is the fact that we have kept a very strong database. And I think that in any business that is a people business, that is a critical way of thinking in terms of building a strong, solidified business. So SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So the game plan starts today for the month. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this today is because of convention and what we're doing and where I kind of feel myself. So I'm going to share with you a little bit of my feelings that are very transparent, and it may or may not apply to you, but I think the content will apply. So we've talked a little bit about implementation, and really it all starts with you, right? To implement. You're the CEO of your company. You're the one who creates the momentum. It has to start with you. If you have a team, they're looking at you. They're looking at you when you go on vacation. They're looking at you when you have a bad day. They're looking at you when you aren't really feeling it. All of your energy is transparent to your team, whether you think so or not. And so we're all on the same page that we need new business. We're all on the same page that we're regrowing our business. We're all on the same page that, over the last several years that you've been in this business, you see people come and go. You see people that are maybe not as committed as you. You see people that, don't show up the way you do. And that's the reality of any business. We become very close with the people in this business together because it is a relationship business. But in all business, people come, they go, they're not sure, they don't know if it's a great fit, whatever. So new business is everything. And so in order to create new business consistently in any business, and I always say that because this business is no different from any business that I've ever seen or been a part of or know about. In any business, whether it's the grocery store or the post office or any place that people get jobs, companies are always looking for new people and new business, okay? Because that's the lifeblood of their company, right? You can't just sort of say, oh yeah, I'm happy with what our growth was this year. Every single company is looking for bigger growth the next year. They always talk about percentages of growth. So new business is where we're at and what we want. And here's what I'm going to go back to, because I got away from it. And one of the reasons why I got away from it is because my backyard, meaning that when I started with Nerium, I went to people all over my community. And, I pretty much thought that I saturated all my friends and all the people that knew me. And we had literally parties all the time. And we constantly were building our calendar. And we shared our calendar with every single person that got involved. We took their name, their number, their email. And anytime we had a party, everyone was invited to bring a guest. So for a couple of years solid, this calendar went around town, and people just brought people over to our house or their house or wherever we were. But I held the calendar because I was the leader. And I held that calendar and I filled it up. I filled it up with RRPs around town. I filled it up with the consistent market parties. I filled it up with when I was doing three-way calls and sit downs. And it was a master calendar, okay? So it was me and other people on my team. And I got away from it because my team grew out of my area. Okay, so it kind of grew, this kind of grass fire, it grew away, and it went into other communities and other states and eventually other countries, and our attention span went into all sorts of different places. So the calendar became kind of obsolete, and I wasn't sharing dates with anybody, and I wasn't coordinating dates. And I feel like part of the reason why some people felt like maybe they weren't a part of something was because these events were not created for them and they weren't a part of them. And that's okay. Not everybody is going to be the head of the calendar. Hopefully people begin and start their own calendar, but if you are the leader of a team in your area and you want to have consistency, you got to keep the calendar up, kind of like the way we keep the Zoom up. And it's not always easy, right? There's not always something to talk about. Many times I feel like I don't know what I'm going to talk about, and I definitely am going to put it out there today that next week I need trainers, and actually I need one on Friday for sure. So we'll talk about that in a second. But the idea behind the game plan is this. It's a perfect time for you to sit with a calendar and call the people on your team that have an interest in building up their base of customers and brand partners and saying, okay, let's build the calendar. What is your schedule? And how many events can you do? And see if you can either show up, Zoom in, FaceTime in, whatever, be a part of it and really try to create that momentum. Because it really is you. You are the people that show up every day that are consistent. And not everybody is consistent, but you're the one who coordinates the consistency. And I think that that's important to just, understand if you want to continue to grow a team. I do want to continue to grow a team, and I know that I am very much in the process of rebuilding. And it doesn't always feel great to rebuild because we want to feel like, we should be able to have the same team we had 3 or 4 years ago. But there is cycles in business, okay? And you don't always have the exact same amount of people in your business or people that are working. I knew that for people used to say to me, will you see this actor if you don't have anybody in that category? And a lot of agents would do categories because they would say, well, if I have a really tall, beautiful blonde model, I need a couple of them because when one is working, then I have another one that I can submit on projects. I never ran my business really that way, but a lot of people did because they wanted to have a body of business where they never fell short of a certain category that people were looking for. So I know very well what that means in terms of building your base, creating a base, and continuing to build that base as you grow your business. So the calendar is a big part of what we do. And so for our game plan today, I'm asking that if this is something that you feel, strong about and that maybe you used to do, I'm suggesting that we all create another calendar, especially since we're going into convention, because what we want to do is we want to have double the amount of effort before we get there. And then when we want to come out of convention with our month end planned. So we have, when we get back, we have literally a few days before the end of the month. And if we have momentum coming out of that, where we're meeting with our people, downloading them what we do, this calendar can be very effective. And then for the rest of the summer, if you're creating this calendar and creating events that are fun with your team, you're going to see a lot of activity and therefore a lot of people getting in. So I talk a lot about 3 or free in the beginning of the month, because I think that is one way to solidify your position in Nerium. And a lot of times at the end of the month, people get caught and they don't hit their rank, or at the last minute, they're like, I don't understand why I'm not a senior director, or I don't understand why I'm not executive. Well, one person in one leg has not reached the goal of getting to senior brand partner. And senior brand partner can be taken care of the first week of the month for everybody. I mean, it really can. And the numbers are very, very simple. If you have 3 brand partners, you personally have 3 brand partners, they don't have to be your own, and you've gotten them 3 or free qualified, you pretty much should have within yourself and those 3 brand partners, if they are 3 or free qualified, you should be at well over 1,600 in volume to be a senior brand partner. You have to have your 3 active, of course, but you really can do it with just customers. So I always want to understand the game plan of getting 3 or free qualified, not only for yourself, but for those people on your team, to help you qualify for whatever you need, and to help them qualify for whatever they need. And so to take action on that is creating the calendar and making sure that you have events where you're creating synergy with new clients, new customers. Okay, so that's one of the major parts of this being, you know, the first week of July, where we can really make stuff happen in the beginning and solidify. And then keeping your customers happy is another really big deal, because happy customers are your raving fans. They're the ones that help you to build your party. They're the ones you go to and say, hey, I'm having a tasting party of our new product. I'd love to invite you. Please bring some friends. If they are happy customers, they are happy to help you. The worst thing is you don't want any smiley faces turning into sad faces, because 50% of customers who have a bad experience tell 10 people. And I've run into that. I'm sure you've run into that, where, you know, people say, oh, that doesn't work, or I didn't have a good experience, or my person didn't follow up, or whatever it is, you get the brunt of that. And by the way, this is not the only industry that happens to. You know, in the real estate market, if an agent does a bad job and they work for RE/MAX, a lot of times everyone decides, oh, RE/MAX isn't a good company because I had a bad experience with a realtor. So it's really incumbent upon us as, you know, brand partners together to really give a good experience to our customers, for all of us to help everybody, because the reputation that we have can sometimes reflect the reputation of everybody. And so you really want to create happy customers, not only to refer you business, not only to create your network to be strong, but also what's really amazing is most customers, when they have a good experience and they see what you're doing, want to become brand partners in your business. So these are things that I've kind of shared before on customer, you know, customer appreciation and why customers will stay with you. Mostly, I will tell you, customers stay with you because of the experience. Not only the experience of the product, but how you deal with them. And that's really why we have to be so incredibly vigilant on our own personal you know, our own personal production, because what we do, what we broadcast, how we are with our customers translates to everybody. Okay. And so by you having a great customer service and a great customer experience, that resonates with your person to help you to grow your business and, you know, everybody around you. And it will help you with your parties. It will help you with your retention. It will help you with all of those things. The customer base of any business is the most critical. And if you're not taking care of that, and I will be the first to tell you that, you know, I do at least, you know, 5 power notes a week to past customers with samples and things. Now, I don't always get anywhere immediately with that, But if I follow up with a phone call and I follow up with more information, mostly when I get them on the phone, they hear my voice, they hear my passion, they hear my excitement, and I'm not trying to sell them something. I get a raving fan. And that's really the key point in having a great experience. And really, you guys know that when you go into a restaurant or you go into the mall or you go into a boutique, you know the difference between good customer service and not so good customer service. So I always remember that people, really look at you on how you deal with them, okay? This is an example, you guys, of the difference in the amount of volume that you can get when you have customers. So if you have one customer and your brand partners have one customer at 120 volume, you have here, they have you having 5 brand partners, you have 600 in group qualifying volume. But if you had the same 5 people that had 3 customers each and there were 3 are free, you'd have triple that. You'd have 1,800 in volume. That is significant. So that's why I always want to remind us, me included, of why the 3 are free is important and why we need to focus on that and why it's important to create a good experience for everybody. So leaders can be defined as the visionary who solves the complex problems of the day, often by proposing simple and genuine solutions that people believe in. That is a leader that attracts followers. So we want to make it easy, we want to make it fun, and we want to make it work. Customers make great brand partners. So that's the second part of the plan. When you do a good experience with your customers and they really, love the product, they stay with it. They're more apt to stay with it. They are more apt to want to promote you, okay? And this is something that, and that's why I love that book, Raving Fans, because it really is about creating raving fans. People talk about stuff all the time. And I get reminded of that. The simplest conversation, if you're at an event or you're having coffee with somebody or you're at a table out to dinner and you really listen to what people say and how they promote things that they're not involved with just naturally because they had a great experience or something was really fun. And I kind of do that exercise every time I go out. Just to see what people are talking about and what they believe in. So you really have the ability to broadcast that to your customers and your brand partners. And that comes to, the asking questions part. So here we are, we're the beginning of the month. The game plan for me that I want to share with you is just what I talked about, which is the calendar. I think it's really imperative for me to create that calendar again, which I have not had in a long time here locally. In my backyard. And there's a lot of new people that just need some direction and some help. So the first question that I want to ask to myself is, am I 3 or free qualified? And the answer is yes. The next question is my team 3 or free qualified? And I can simply go into a report and see that most are not. Of course, we love to wait till the 23rd to see all of our returning customers, but can you imagine if you actually spend time on getting 3 new customers in a month, what that would do to your business, how that would multiply your business? And where do you want to be at the end of the month? Because if you decide that you want to be at the same rank or you want to go to the next rank, your 3 or free qualification on your team right now is going to be critical. You want to make sure that you are talking to your brand partners about where they want to be now. Where do they want to be at the end of the month? Who on your team wants to rank advance? We're going into convention. There's a few days that the people that are not going to convention need a calendar of events because you're gone, okay? And when you're gone, they're gone. So if you want things to be happening in your business while you're gone, you want to create that calendar today to make sure that you know exactly what everyone's doing while you're gone, and then once you get out of convention, you're coming back to nothing but activity. Okay, so how can you help your team do that? You can be the implementer. You can be the one that says, hey, I've got a system. I want to help you with your game plan. Is this something that you're interested in doing? You need to be doing your 2 exposures. You need to be working on your follow-up, and you need to be doing the communication, because if you're doing that, then you know that your team is doing that. It's just the way it goes. It's the energy in the room. It's the energy of what you're broadcasting. And your workout partner. Now, we talked about the workout partner yesterday and how critical that was. And I'm hoping everybody on this Zoom has a workout partner. But really, mainly what I think is really important is your team. Is those people on your team, do they have a workout partner? And you really want to be communicating that, because people get lost and they get tired and they get discouraged and they're not equipped to deal with sometimes the things that you're equipped to deal with. We're all in different spaces. We've all had different experience. And a lot of people that get involved in a new business, or they've never been their own entrepreneur, they've never owned their own business, sometimes the discouragement can way outdo the excitement. Okay. And so that it's up to you. You're the owner, you're the CEO, you're the one who needs to create that momentum and that energy. And we see that right in our leadership. We see that when Jeff Olson gets on our Zoom last week, and what happens? He brings nothing but energy. He brings, the momentum, because he has all this information. Now it's our job to broadcast that to the people that we're in business with. So that's really the game plan that I really am going to be working on in the next week. And what I'd really love is for you guys to think about, who would like to kind of take that and run with it next week and do some training here on the mastermind. You all have tremendous ideas and you all do tremendous stuff in your own business. And the mastermind is here to share that information. And I'd love to stay on the theme of really helping not only yourself, but your team create momentum by doing real results parties, by creating a calendar, and by actually having those events and sharing how those events are successful, or if they weren't successful in what you wanted, how we can help you to create success in that environment. So with that, you guys, I'm going to either open it up, you guys can comment, but I really want to hear from you on who. First of all, I need somebody to train tomorrow for sure. So I don't know who that is, but somebody needs to step up and train tomorrow. And then next week, I'd love to have a couple of people that want to add to the conversation. So if anyone wants to volunteer right now, that would be great. If not, text me and let me know, okay? So anybody want to comment on today?
This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Randy. Thanks for saying that.
No, it's the truth. It's always wonderful. Every day, it's something uniquely different. And it's awesome that you've gone through these slides. These are perfect slides and give direction. And it's just wonderful. Thank you so much, Annie.
Well, thanks, Randy.
And I want to reiterate that, Annie, it's been a great, it's a great time for me to get my morning going. I look forward to it every morning. And I think that what we talked about today in the power of customers is probably, if we didn't have customers, we didn't have a business. So, I look at it that way, that our customers are really our bloodline. And so it's getting out there and doing the activity to make it happen. So I appreciate you.
Oh, thanks, Ann.
And I'll train tomorrow if you want.
Okay, great. Thanks, Karen.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. And thanks again. This was great. We'll definitely expand on it tomorrow.
That's great. Yeah, I think we need to, and I really appreciate you doing that. Okay.
You bet.
All right, you guys. Well,
Annie, I have a thought. I talked with Chassie yesterday. This is Susie, and they're going to have a pool party in a couple of weeks and invite their customers. And I thought, oh my gosh, I love this thinking outside of the box and doing different things with our RRPs. So I want to put that together and just have people come over and especially dip into all my customers and invite them over and say, hey, bring a friend or two. We'll get you all three. You're free. So thanks for reminding us to not just think brand partners for these RRPs, but to get into our customers and get them over for some fun.
I think that's a great idea. I will pop over, Susie, with no bathing suit, but I will not be going in the pool. But I will be there drinking my youth factor.
There you go.
That sounds good. Great. Well, that's great. These are the types of things, you guys, we want ideas, and Karen will expand on it tomorrow. And then next week, we'll continue it right up until we get into, and look, everybody that's in my area, including you, Susie, we're gonna get out the calendar and
Yeah.
start to build into that calendar of what we can be doing a couple days a week and get back into that momentum thing. So
Good. Yeah.
anybody else have any ideas or comments?
Hey, Annie, it's Susan. Just a quick question to the group. You know, if people have ideas of what they want some of the trainings to be on, just maybe areas that they'd like some more help on, you know, that would be helpful too. I mean, I'm happy to put my name in the hat for training. Sometimes it helps to just see where some of the areas are that people really could use some extra training in.
Well, that would be great. And, we're always open for suggestions on that. And I think, I would love you guys to text me or email me or private message me or however you want to communicate and tell me what would be helpful to you. And if we can keep it along the lines, at least for this next week, just trying to get more into the activity mode to create that synergy with our customers and our brand partners. I really feel like we need to go into convention with a lot of momentum. And for those people that can't go to convention, they need to be doing activities while we're there, because very often times when you go away, people, stop. And I'm guilty of it too. So that's great, Susan. And I hope that one of those days next week you'll train.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so anybody else have any comments? Okay, well, we have a plan, and it's time for us to execute. And tomorrow will be great. Karen will be training, and I'll see you guys later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Annie.
Thank you, Annie.
Thanks, Annie.
Thank you.